Hi, I'm Iba Perron from American Women in France, and today I'm going to talk about businesses because on our website we help people to move to France, but we also help American people to start a business in France. And one of the questions that we get the most is, what is the very first thing that I should do if I want to start a business in France? Well, the very first things actually that you will have to do is not even about the business. It's more about the language, because it will be very difficult to start a business if you don't speak the language, because you will completely isolate yourself from everybody. And even if you married a French person and you don't want to depend on this person in order to translate everything on your everyday task or in your business. So it's very important that before you even move to France, you start learning the language. So of course, there's chances that you won't be fluent before you arrive, but it's very important that you know at least how to start more than the basic, and how to start a conversation, how to interact in a conversation, because also you probably heard that, but the French people are not very good with languages, with foreign language. So depending on where you live, if you're in Paris or in a big city, you will probably find people who speak English, but if you're in a small city, nobody will speak English, or very few people. And they don't really make the effort to talk to you in English. So they consider that if you move to France, you are the one who have to speak their language. And sometimes also between the stereotype when we say that the French people are rude, or they're very cold, or they're not very friendly because they don't make the effort. It's first of all, it's the culture, but also it's the fact that they don't know the language. So they want you to learn the language. So very important, make sure that you learn some French. And the best way to learn French, especially if you start a business, is actually to read books about business. What is the kind of business that you want to start? Let's say you want to be a consultant or a coach. Well, you just take a class, you take teacher, you take one-on-one class, and then you read books about businesses, how to become a coach, or how to become a coach in France, or how to become a consultant, how to sell your services in France, how to interact with people over there. The same, the culture, the barrier of culture, it will completely different with the way you act with people when you're in the US and the way you act with people in France, even if you do the exact same business in both countries. The reaction of the people will be completely different. So you read books, you try to listen to different shows if you have the opportunity, show about businesses, and even if you don't understand everything, because of course at the beginning, especially if you start from scratch, you will definitely not understand everything, but at least you get used to the words, get used to the intonation and that kind of thing. And the more you will read and the more you will listen, or you listen to the radio, you listen to the news, you will notice that at some point, and it's happened to me when I moved to the US, and for a lot of people that I know who went to a different country, it's going step by step when you learn the language. At first, you can speak a little, but it's very difficult for you to understand what people say. So you will tell them, can you repeat it, or can you say it slowly? But then when you listen to the news or the TV, you will notice that at some point, after a few weeks, after a few months, you will get a little more and a little more. And suddenly it's like, oh, but like 2 months ago, I couldn't hear exactly what they said. Now I pick some words. And then if you continue, if you get used to, you will notice that at some point, say, no. And you realize, I understand what they said. So it's really funny how it just jumps suddenly. But in order to get to that point, you definitely need to be prepared in advance. It will work much better for you if you start that when you're still in the US instead of waiting to France. But again, you will definitely not be fluent when you arrive, which doesn't matter, because then when you have the ability to be part of the conversation with people on your private life or on your business, then the immersion that you will get there, then at some point you will have to speak French. So, but at least you here will be prepared for that. So you will notice that it works way much better, way much faster if you started before. And that way you don't waste time either with your business, because if you have to take the time to set up in France and you want to start a business, but then you have to wait for what, 3 months, 6 months, or a year in order to really understand the language, you're definitely losing time. So make sure that you do that, and also when you arrive speaking about the language, make sure that you don't try to be just around expat or just around American just because you will think you will feel better, because otherwise you feel that you will be lost if you don't hear anybody speaking English. So try to avoid that at the very beginning. Try to mix the maximum with either an international crowd or mainly with French people. Go to the library. That's what I did when I moved to the US. For the first 3 months, I spent the first 3 months the entire day at the library. So that way I was around American people, which was an opportunity to meet some people, to network, and also to read. So make sure that you don't start your little America somewhere and wherever you live. Don't try to join only expat group, but learn the language in advance. Make sure that you mix correctly with French people and you practice a lot. And one tip that my business partner Eugenie gave me also is to read books about children, because it's simple, it's easy, so that's a great way to start. So start by that and continue with business book and just practice, and then you will be able to start your business. So I hope this helped. If you have any question or any comment, if you want to share your own experience, make sure that you mention it on the comment under this video. And I will see you next time for the next video on American Women in French. Thank you.